We're in the able hands of our session moderator, Ameet Mirpuri of Ameet Mirpuri Design Studios. We have with us Shabnam Gupta of the Orange Lane, Akshay Heranjal of the Purple Ink Studio, and Seema Puri of SEZA Architect.
Today we're talking about how to think better, not to just design better, the creative mindset. That's what the topic FOAID put forward for me. So when we talk about architecture and interior design, we often celebrate outcomes more. You know, the finished spaces, the awards, the photographs, that's what we're looking at. But long before the space actually takes form, there's something quieter that happens, not so loud, which is the actual thought process. Today, this conversation is going to be about not just about the styles, the materials, the trends. It's about the mental habits behind them.
I think we've become more relaxed. I think you know that the world will not come to an end if something goes wrong. I think that comes over a period of time and experience where you realize that you still need to show up the next day. You still need to fight, but you don't need to go mad. Not scared us, because we are quite fearless. Because I think the exciting part of most of us, whether on the panel or in the profession, there's a risk in every project you take. I mean, unless you're playing a safe game, unless you don't want to push yourself, and unless you're doing a cookie-cut practice, which is not motivating, then you're running a business, you're not really running a creative practice. So from that sense, I think every project there is a certain amount of risk, and I think you just become more and more fearless, and you become bolder with your strokes, and you really don't feel the need to conform as long as the project has the kind of soul that you envisage it, as long as the end user is loving every bit of it, and as long as it has the kind of shelf life where even after 10 years the client calls you and says, wow, what did you create? So what's life without that risk?
I think it's becoming less about a project in particular, more about the practice for us. So a lot of our time is actually becoming more defined by a larger vision, which is becoming a collective vision. So for us, it's not about an individual thought anymore. It's about finding a larger commitment. So for us, in fact, it's exactly the opposite side of what you all are saying. As much as I would like to be a lot more relaxed and more content, I think we are diving in deeper and getting more and more. The energy is right for us, but at the same time, we are trying to dig in a lot more questions for ourselves. So one of the things that we actually focused on is, can architecture shape culture? So when I say that, a lot of our projects are now questioning this whole idea of, should buildings be locked? Can there be non-linear ways of looking at things? Can things become more porous? Who's defining what, and why should it be questioned? So a lot of our projects on the other side is also questioning typologies.
By that you mean?
Meaning, we're questioning this whole idea of, let's say we are working on, we do a lot of institutions and campuses. We realize that it's becoming more and more rigid, right? Like it always was about the idea of power and hierarchy. So for us, we realize that we need to break that barrier of hierarchy, make it a lot more porous, so it becomes more people-driven spaces. Of course, not just for the people who are studying there, but it also starts finding a way to give back to the city.
I definitely trust my intuition. I'd like always to visit a site, and in that first visit, when you see what is surrounding the site, and of course, you have studied the program, you know what is required, you know what kind of social spaces and what kind of, open spaces, etc. you should be creating. So it kind of, when you come to the site, it kind of comes to you in a way which you can't start visualizing when you're just seeing paper. So for me, it's very important that you go to the project, you go to your site, and you kind of spend, I would say, many hours walking around that street, because finally what you're building is going to shape the urban scape. It's very, very important, right? You're not only building something in isolation, it's something which is going to be seen across everything. So the context is extremely important. Of course, the climate of that place and how it's going to receive the structure, what are the kind of, what is it looking onto, what should be shielded from, does it require some kind of a screening, does it require, of course, to think in what are your wind directions. I think all of that comes with a certain amount of intuition and with being on site at the project.
Good design should make people slightly uncomfortable. This man, I think just every time he sees somebody else and then he puts it the other way around otherwise.
No. I think works have to question.
Yeah.
Comfort is not the answer for us.
Yeah. I think
Comforting is
you're
different.
talking, so the context I think they're talking about over here is you're talking about being uncomfortable in the way that people perceive
Absolutely.
it. And
Not in
they're
terms- of
actually
course,
talking
not in
about in the
terms
way
of
comfort
warmth.
they feel in it.
Not in terms of warmth or how you feel,
Yeah.
but it needs to wake you up.
Yeah.
It needs to wake you up in a way that sort of addresses larger things in life.
Overthinking is more dangerous than underthinking in design.
I don't have an answer to this.
Put it that way then, I think. I knew something was going to come with there as well. And the last one, good taste can be taught. Really?
Yeah, I come
Okay.
from a very simple background and I have to agree with this.
Okay.
But only to a certain extent.
Of course.
Yeah. Agree. When someone walks through your work years later, after the trends have faded, after people have forgotten who you are, what do you hope that they feel? And what does that say about how you chose to think?
I don't think they should feel that it's, so many years old. According to me, your work should definitely have some timelessness in it. They shouldn't want to say that, no, I don't want to look at it because it's old. It has to be timeless, right? It has to create some emotion in you. So why would you not want to look at it? Even if it's old, it has to be relevant. That's what's important, relevance.
Evoking emotion. Even years down the line, it has to make you feel, whether it makes you feel horrible
Yeah.
or whether it makes you feel great. But if it doesn't feel anything, I don't know what we really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll actually be very sad if people don't remember you. Because then it means that you didn't ask the right questions.